I think all of us are trying to improve somehow, especially in areas of interest and expertise and areas that we decide to pursue in life. And there are many ways for us to improve, some of which is attending courses, like looking at stuff online, and also seeking the experiences through which we can have improvements. One of the best ways for us to do that, which is also much closer to sports, is having coaches. So if we look at football, for example, we'd see like teams are being classified into successful or not unsuccessful based on the quality of the coaches and the performance of the coaches that they have. So if we are pursuing improvements in our daily life, in our professions, we would be seeking coaching and the right coaches to be able to move to the next level. So if we look at the difference between like acquiring the knowledge in a specific field and also improving our performance in the same field or in any field, we find that acquiring knowledge that we can pursue different lines for that, like training courses, for example, pursuing academic degrees, all this would contribute to our knowledge. But if we really want to improve our performance in a specific like field, we have to be looking at the coaches who already know the best ways for us to improve our skill set and our performance. So definitely seeking coaches who really know what they're doing when it comes to a specific vertical is very vital for us to improve our skill set.
Yes, Mr. Abdul, how the coaches actually could help? In other words, how the coach is different than a therapist or just a friend who is sharing information or experience with us?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think one of the big challenges that once there is a coaching relationship established is understanding what to expect from the coach. So in terms of what do you expect from the coach, I think like the biggest word is going to be performance, because coaches are focused on helping you become better at kind of doing something specifically. If we're talking about young entrepreneurs, if we're talking about business executives, it's about executing the business and moving the business forward. So it's about like focusing on the different areas of performance for a specific individual, being empathetic with them, and then helping them move to the next level. So focusing on performance and performance improvement is a vital keyword here when it comes to what do we expect from coaches.
So, sir, why choosing the right coach could be a decisive factor in accomplishing goals in life?
Yeah, I think like if we look at like the process of improvements, if we rely, and also the coaches are, it's a very, very important and intimate relationship to a lot of extent. If we look at those in sports, we would see that there is a huge difference that's made in like a player's performance based on the kind of coaches that they have. So if we look at this close relationship between coaches and coachees, we would see that this is a very strong and important relationship, and based on that, like looking at the right coach would be very vital to how far we're going to go with that. So for us to find the right coach, this is going to be affecting our performance. This could be like reaching the goal faster, so becoming better faster. I mean, like even if we look at sports, I know people who were interested in a specific sport, they spent 3 years pursuing that path, and then that improvement was not really fast enough. But with the right coach, they were able to reach that kind of performance in like 6 months. So like saving time, saving money, and improving fast and rapidly, I think these are the benefits of finding the right coach.
Yes, Mr. Abdul, what are the qualifications of a good coach? How can we choose a good coach, and we know that beforehand?
Yeah, that's a very difficult part to actually discover that before having the experience itself. So like one of the best things to do is to actually know what you're looking for, and also look for specialized coaches. I think there are like generic coaches, people can coach you across, like there are life coaches, there are like business coaches, and there are some like deeply vertical and specialized coaches. And I think it's going to also depend on who's seeking the coaching and to what extent is the problem wide or is it narrow. So and based on that, you're going to figure out what kind of coach you're going to be aiming for. So like if I look at picking the right coach, I would actually understand what do I expect from the coach, what is the outcome that I'm seeking. So if I'm an entrepreneur, for example, seeking to raise funds for my business, I would see that the outcome is for me to be qualified to talk to investors and secure funding for my business. So this is my objective, and by then I'm going to be looking for the coach who actually know that topic, who actually like has access somehow and understand the process and probably went through it like before. So if I find someone with that, I would possibly just look for a meeting, an introduction meeting with them. And I think lots of coaches, professional coaches, offer that, is that you can spend 1 to 2 hours like with them, having an introduction meeting without committing to a coaching relationship. So having this kind of dating relationship is in which that you sit with the coach and you see whether you got chemistry. Do you like to talk with this person? Would you trust them with your secrets? This is a very vital step. Like one other aspect is looking at others from the industry and what kind of feedback they have from this particular individual.
Yes. If we are talking about more professional coaching or coaching for young entrepreneurs or for startups, how intimate here are we talking about the relation between the entrepreneurs and the coach, and to what extent the experience of the coach could actually help in the format or the system of the startup that the young entrepreneurs maybe are going to do?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think also we have to highlight that there is a difference between coaching and consulting. So big part that has to do is building organizations or like consulting.
So in this case, what's the difference here between the mentor and the coach?
Yeah, I think like the mentor, it's more like a spiritual relationship. To what extent is that mentor someone that you look up to and who accomplished something, and then like you have mostly less frequent organizations than a coach. The mentor is someone provides general direction, like advice when it comes to general direction. So which direction should I take? So like a mentor would be someone like could possibly be more senior, like older with a lot of experience, someone that you look up to as a character and as an individual, and by then they provide you in conversation about the general direction. So there's a lot of things in common with coaches, but coaches are mostly focused on performance and specific goals. So if you hire a coach because you have a very particular objective that you want to reach, and then this coach, while not guaranteeing that you're going to reach that goal, because that's something outside of their control, they do their best in getting you as fit as possible to reach that goal. So this is a distinction between like the mentorship and the coaching relationship. Getting back to your question when it comes to if we're focusing on startups, I think by then a coach would better actually be focused on a specific individual within the company. So there could be like group coaching for a whole startup, but it's going to have a different format. I think some of the best ways to do that is to either like coach the CEO or coach the management team, even like sometimes independently, because people sometimes have different agendas, and like a coach has to be committed to a specific individual. So the highest value could be from coaching the CEO himself, and also like the CEO could have a coach, everyone else within the team could get a different coach. But by then, if you focus on the performance of the CEO, the way they look at the business, the way they interact with people, and also possibly bringing a network of people to kind of grab and like motivate the CEO in a specific direction, I think that would be an like extremely valuable thing. Just spotting on a specific individual, because this is like somehow an intimate relationship. And yes, when it comes to startups, if we're talking about coaches and startups, because like startups are evolving organizations, so there's massive risk and massive change and a lot of uncertainty. So it gets very intimate sometimes, and I think like some of the downside is that there is massive expectations of what the coach is going to bring us. So if you look at, if we're building a startup with an idea and we're seeking funding, I might assume that my coach is going to possibly just give me access to the funds, while the coach can actually help you become more ready to access the funds. You cannot guarantee that. And also there are many variables that has to do with verifying that this is actually a feasible business idea, and that might not be the area in which that you have requested for the coach to coach you. You might be like performance oriented, and they are not necessarily like looking at the strategy of the company. So understanding, while this is going to become like personal and intimate, is that this is what I provide you, and this is sometimes like as coaches you have to repeat that, is that in this part you probably need to talk to a therapist. I can connect you to a therapist, or I can connect you to a consultant. But when it comes to that, like I'm concerned about you and your performance with the business, and that's what we're going to focus on during the sessions. So you would think about it, it's pretty close to a therapist when it comes to like good coaching. They're going to become like more intimate, but it's actually focused on more performance. Is what do I do in order to get there?
So sir, how can I know the coaching program and the format that fits my need?
Yeah, I think like some of the best things is to have this customized. So like coaches offer like specific programs. It could actually be time-based. Mostly it's time-based, because like in a coaching interaction, what to do is quite different in a lot of different contexts. So you need to actually look at it in terms of like what time do I have as an executive, because if I'm a CEO of a startup, I'm probably very busy if I have like 10 or 20 staff and I'm recruiting heavily. So I'm possibly busy, and my coach is also busy. So I need to look at what kind of like time limits do I look for.